Help me welcome Dr. Marcus Gall.
Thank you. How's everyone doing? Good morning. Good to see you all your smiling faces here. I must have a spit radius that nobody wants to sit in the front row here. So, okay, now we're filling it in. Well, welcome everyone. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here on a Saturday. I know there's a lot of other places you could be today. But you chose to be here, and that's worth celebrating today, just as we are getting into our Heartstrong. Who's ready to be Heartstrong? A few of you? Okay, all right. I would expect it a little bit better. Everybody say Heartstrong. Heartstrong. Say Heartstrong. Heartstrong. Come on, one more time. Heartstrong. Heartstrong. There you go. Okay, so today is about making you heartstrong. Okay. This is something that we're going to give you all the steps that you can do to prevent heart disease, to make sure that you're not becoming another heart statistic, to make sure that you are fully heart strong. Okay? If you don't know me yet, my name is Dr. Marcus Gall. I am the owner and founder of Essential Family Chiropractic here in Brighton. I'm going to be your host for the next 4 hours. Okay? Don't start throwing tomatoes. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'll make a deal with you guys. The harder you laugh at my jokes, the earlier we'll finish. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay. No, I'll make sure we get you out of here before the snow hits tonight. Like I said, I'm the owner and founder of Essential Family Chiropractic. My passion is really helping people to be their healthiest possible. Okay. Whether performing at the highest level, whether that be 2016 going down to the Olympics, spending 10 days with the U.S. wrestling team there, or if it's here in the local level, helping people to perform at their highest level as a mom or as a parent or as a employer, employee, whatever that is we want to make sure that you're performing at the highest level in your life. Okay, and I've been teaching people about health and wellness for over 10 years now. Something I really enjoy doing. Have worked and trained in some of the largest offices, chiropractic offices in the country, some of the top wellness and doctors in the world, teaching this stuff, and it's my passion. I've been here in Brighton for about 4.5 years now. When I opened my office, I did it with the mission of being able to create a culture of health here in our community, here in Brighton, and even in the surrounding towns. Okay? Helping people to be healthy by helping them to reach their God-given health potential. Okay? And I say that is because each and every one of you was created with an amazing potential for health. Okay? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't necessarily realize that potential, but we want to make sure that that's happening as much as possible. So today, you're going to be able to learn how to be heart strong, how to prevent heart disease. Okay, you're going to walk out of here today with some of the best resources and products to make sure that you're fueling your heart to its optimal level. Okay, but you're also going to be able to walk out of here equipped to be able to take these things and spread it to the people that you know, that you care about in your life, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, coworkers, whoever that is, so that they also do not become another heart statistic. And the way I do that in my office is using, as a Max Living doctor, what we call the 5 essentials of health. Okay? And they are obviously essentials for a good reason, is there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, is these are essential for you to be as healthy as possible. Okay? The core chiropractic, nutrition, mindset, oxygen and exercise, and then minimizing toxins. And I use these every day to help people get off medications, to lose weight. Actually, I had a gal come in last night, and she's lost 45 pounds in 4 months. Okay? And she is doing awesome. Okay? Helping people get more energy, just to be able to, again, feel their best on a daily basis, no matter what that looks like. And today we're going to be talking about the 5 essentials in relation to this book right here. It's called The Paleo Cardiologist. Okay? And just to give you a little background on why we're talking about this is Dr. Wolfson Dr. Jack Wolfson, he's the one who wrote the book. He is an osteopath by trade, but he specialized in cardiology, okay? Or he specializes in cardiology. And Dr. Wolfson, a little bit of his background, I actually got to hear him speak in June. His background was, he was one of the leading professionals in his field in cardiology. He was published in all these different journals. He's well respected in the cardiology community. He was a senior partner in one of the largest cardiology firms or cardiology clinics in the country, but in one of the biggest in Arizona. And as he was spending his time in practice, he started getting frustrated. Is because all the people he was seeing were sick, okay? And basically his job was to be able to just push medications at them, put them on prescriptions, get them to perform the pacemakers, to put pacemakers in, doing all these procedures, and basically just band-aiding the problem and then watch his patients die of heart disease even after all the work that he's put in. And he got frustrated at this reactive system that he saw where people waited until there was a problem and then in this crisis come looking for answers. And he said, I can't do it anymore. And so he left his practice. He was making over $1 million a year at this practice. He decided to leave it all behind and become one of the world's only natural cardiologists. And now he has people flying in from all over the world to come see him because they actually want to be healthy and they don't want to just do the medication routes that he'd spent most of his practice doing. And in Maximize Living, we have hundreds of doctors around the country. Okay, Dr. Wolfson is not one of them, but he might as well be. Is because when you read his book, okay, when you read this book, you see the 5 essentials showing up everywhere. Showing up talking about toxins and fitness and nutrition and mindset and how that affects your body. And so if you don't have this book, make sure to pick it up today, okay? And read it. It's a really easy read. I've already read through it. Really interesting. A lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about today is based off of that. But what we're doing is all the proceeds from that book is going to buy food for Almost Home and their annual Thanksgiving food drive. You guys can already see got a huge pile there. We're hoping to add to that. And thank you. Another round of applause to all of you who have brought in food. And helping families as well. All the proceeds are going to go to that. It's $25. You can pick that up when we're done today. Okay. But it's really easy when you start reading this book and understanding some of the things. It's really easy to see how this doctor could leave all that behind, all that he built behind, because now he's the quack who practices natural cardiology. But it's really easy to see why he left it behind is because when you study the body, when you know the body, when you understand how it works, you see this innate potential for health that we all have. Okay? And so today I want to start us off just in a moment of prayer because ultimately that healing that we all have, it comes from one place. Okay? So if you're willing to join me, just go ahead and bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for this morning. Thank you for all these people here today. I pray that you would bless them for taking this action step of just coming out on a Saturday morning to be here. And I pray that this knowledge would be a blessing to them and the people around them, that it would change lives and we would see miracles happen, people getting off medications, people reversing diabetes and heart disease, just incredible things happening because you bless them with a healing body. And so we thank you and pray for safe travels for everybody at home and for all the people who couldn't make it today. We pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen. Awesome. So, obviously, the way we've already talked today is it's probably going to be really easy to answer this question. Okay? What's the number one death-causing disease that we face here, really in the world? Okay? Heart disease. Yep, really easy. Okay? Gold star for everybody. Cardiovascular disease. Okay? It's something that I believe we're all affected by. Raise your hand if you know someone who's had a heart attack or stroke or died from it. Okay? Yeah, pretty much everybody's hands. We all are affected this in one way or another. 50% of people, almost half of Americans, before they die are going to be faced with heart disease, are going to get heart disease. Okay? So we all know somebody who's on medications, cholesterol meds, whatever it is. So like I said, we're all affected by it. So we really have to understand what that means. And I'll tell you, I'm not immune to this. My great-grandfather passed from a stroke. My grandmother passed at 72 from a heart attack. My father-in-law, less than a month ago, was in the hospital because he was having a heart issue. Okay? He went in and they said he was hours away from having a heart attack because he had this arrhythmia and things were just going erratic and they didn't know what was going on, so that he spent a couple days in the hospital. Okay? So we're all affected by it. When you look at the numbers, though, it's bad. Okay? 1 in 3 people in the United States are going to die of heart disease. Okay? 1 in 3 people. And the problem with that, it's over 800,000 people. The problem with that is since 2015, just 3 years ago, is that number has gone up almost 40%. Okay? It was in the 600,000 just a few years ago. Now it's 832,000 people dying of heart disease. Okay? So that's a problem. And that equates to 1 person every 38 seconds. That's 2,300 people who die every year, or every day, excuse me, from heart disease here in America. And the cost is not just lives, it's financial. In 2015, we spent $555 billion with a B on heart disease. Okay, 230 some of that, 230 some billion of that was on the indirect costs alone, just the lost productivity from heart disease. And they're expecting that number to go up by 50%, but the total number is supposed to go up to 1.1 trillion, to double in the next 20 years. Okay? And 95% of that is from the treatment of atherosclerosis, which we're going to talk about here today. So that's a lot of money. We was talking, not to get too political, but we talk about like the economy and all this stuff. Imagine if we took all that money from heart disease and we could pour it into our economy. We'd be doing a heck of a lot better, wouldn't we? Okay. And part of this stems from the fact is there's this idea that we have here as Americans that, well, we're just supposed to get heart disease. It's just something that happens with age. It's normal for that to happen. And the reality is no, that is a lie. Okay, that's false. It's a myth. Heart disease is normal with aging. Okay, yeah, as people get older, it's something that we notice more and more. But the truth is while heart disease is common, it is not normal. They've done research on this. Harvard has studied the human body, and they found that it's designed to live 80 to 120 years in great health. Okay, but yet how many people actually make it to that in great health, right? Not so many. And what they're seeing now is that in kids, by the age of 10, 100% of kids already have the beginning stages of atherosclerosis, okay, which is basically fatty streaks in their blood vessels. 100% of children, okay, and this is by age 10. 60% of kids, or adolescents, 15 to 19, already have plaquing built up in their coronary arteries, which is the main blood vessels to their heart. 60%, and then 10% of all heart attacks happen before the age of 45. Okay, so while it may have been, probably even before my time, may have been heart attacks happened to the aged. Now it's happening younger and younger. And I think a lot of us know people who, all of a sudden they've had a heart attack at a really young age. Some of them don't make it. It's like, how did that happen? It's because while it's common, it's not normal, but because we're getting sicker and sicker. Okay? And the key risk factors that we have when it comes to heart disease is, number 1 is high blood pressure. Okay? 2 is high cholesterol, and 3 is smoking. And about half of Americans already have at least one of these risk factors. Okay? At least 47% of people already have that, okay? And that's not including the other risk factors that you look at is things like diabetes, okay? Being overweight or obese, poor diet, lack of exercise, being sedentary, or excessive alcohol use. If you factor all those things in, that's like over 75% of Americans just right there. You think of just being overweight and obese, 66% of Americans are already considered at least overweight, okay? So we've got a lot of work to do when it comes to this, right? You guys agree?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to start off, when it comes to the 5 essentials, we're going to start off with mindset here, is changing our mindset, all right? Again, it's the old idea that you're sick, you're just meant to be sick. That's not the case, okay? So we're going to change that. I want everybody to say, I am built to be healthy.
I am built to be healthy.
One more time, I am built to be healthy.
I am built to be healthy.
Okay, that's the first step in knowing that your body is meant to heal. We're going to do that, okay? But we're going to get into some of these, the mindset really behind some of these risk factors that we face. Number one is the silent killer. Anybody know what that is? High blood pressure, okay? They call it the silent killer is because the symptoms of high blood pressure a lot of times go unnoticed, okay? It's things like blood spots in your eyes, okay? It's facial flushing, you get kind of like a little flush, just feels like almost like a hot flash for women, but just in the face. Dizziness, which that's one of the side effects of a lot of these medications is you'll get dizzy with the blood pressure medications because one, it's dropping it too low, okay? Fatigue, okay? How many of you feel fatigued? Confusion, basically you're going through your day and you just forget what you're doing, you forget where you are even. Chest pain is obviously a big one when you start talking about like angina, the chest pain that's built up, or that racing heartbeat, the palpitations, you're laying in bed and at night and sleeping and all of a sudden your heart's just going 1,000,000 miles an hour, okay? Vision problems, you start to notice your vision gets to be blurry, that's one of the signs. Or even blood in your urine. But a big one that we see, and they're starting to see this more and more, is with men, okay? One of the big side effects that they're noticing with men is a failure to perform, if you catch my drift, okay? Wink, wink. You guys know what I'm saying? So impotence is a very large sign that you're building heart disease. Okay, that failure to perform is because your heart can no longer pump the blood to certain parts of your body, and so it ends up as impotence, and again, that failure to perform. So it's a reality. So wives, if that's the case, you might want to have their heart checked. Okay, but again, we go back to some of the key risk factors that we deal with this is why do we get blood pressure, high blood pressure? Why does those things happen? Is one, blocked arteries, okay? High blood pressure happens because of a thickening and hardening of the arteries, okay? So when your heart pumps blood, normally the blood vessels are able to expand and contract and to help the blood be able to flow through the blood vessels a lot faster. It has a musculature to it to be able to push the blood through, okay? When the arteries harden or they become blocked, there's not that elasticity to help push, so when you have that smaller space for the blood to go through, it increases that pressure, okay? And it's harder for it to get through, and the blood starts to thicken, okay? That's what we call atherosclerosis, okay? Which is hardening, thickening of the blood vessels, plaquing built up on the inside of the blood vessel walls, and that's what creates those blockages, okay? And again, that hardening of the arteries leads to more blood clots, which can, again, restrict the flow of the blood. And eventually what that leads to is what? Heart attack, okay? Leads to a heart attack. But a lot of times it shows up as the blood pressure first, but not always, not always. My grandmother at 72, when she died of a heart attack, okay, She did not have high blood pressure, okay? But yet, bam, one day she's down, okay? And she passed away 2 hours short of her 73rd birthday, right? But you can bet if she knew that there was a problem going on, she would have done something about it. But this damage, it doesn't just happen overnight. It builds over the course of years. They found it takes 10 to 18 years for your arteries to clog enough to where you would have a heart attack, okay? That's not a short time. It takes time for those to get there. And when we talk about blood pressure, there's different stages, okay? It used to be just you had high blood pressure or you had regular blood pressure, okay? Now they've got it built up into stages. And, stage 1 is, if normal is 120 over 80, right? Okay, normal is 120 over 80. When you start getting above 130 for your systolic and above 80 for your diastolic, and what that means is systolic is the pressure on the arteries when your heart is pumping, when it's actually contracting and pushing out the blood. The diastolic is when the heart is relaxed. It's in between your heartbeats. Okay, so that's the pressure there. So obviously that's going to be a little bit lower than when it's pushing. But 130 to 139, 80 to 89 is stage 1. I guess they would call that now pre-hypertension. They've changed it so many times now it's hard to know. But I believe that's pre-hypertension. Okay, stage 2 is when that now gets up over 140 over 90. Okay, with the systolic and the diastolic. Okay, that's full-blown high blood pressure. That's when the doctor is going to start saying you need to be on medication to try to lower that blood pressure. And then stage 3 is 180 over 120. Okay, that's very high. That is full uncontrolled high blood pressure, and you're heading for a world of hurt if that's the case. Okay, again, anything above there, that's when you want to really start looking into taking action steps to be able to change that. Okay. And this is according to the American Heart Association. But the question is why does that happen? Why does our blood pressure start to go up? Why do we have the thickening and the plaquing of the arteries? Okay. Well, there's a few things, and obviously we're going to cover a bunch of different factors here. But really, number one, when it comes to blood pressure, is this thing that we call stress. Okay. How many of you deal with stress? Your hands all better be raised unless you're under like 10 years old, because we all deal with stress, and it's killing us. Okay, it literally is killing us. Okay, they have found over 17,000 studies have been linked to coronary artery disease with stress. Okay, you're 50% more likely if you say that you deal with stress on a regular basis. You're 50% more likely to have a heart attack, and the more stress you deal with, the more likely you are to die of a heart attack. Okay, so it's even more likely that you're not going to survive that heart attack if you deal with stress. Okay, but the reason it's a problem is because of this thing that we call the fight or flight response. Okay, it's the sympathetic nervous system. If there were a bear chasing you, so Jenny, can you bring in the bear? Okay. Yeah. So if there was a bear, if we brought a bear into this room, what's going to happen to all your blood pressure? It's going to go way through the roof, because you know that either you're going to have to run, and you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun somebody else. Okay. Remember the whole laughing thing. Come on, you gotta laugh. They don't get much better than this. Okay, I'm sorry. You just gotta outrun that one person. But you're either going to run or you're going to have to fight that bear. Okay. And that's that fight or flight response. So your blood pressure goes up. It's going to pump the blood out to the muscles, so that again you can do that. It's going to pump it away from things like your digestive system, because your body doesn't need to focus on digesting food; it needs to focus on get energy to those muscles as quickly as you can. Okay. So stress is a major factor, and unfortunately, in our modern lifestyle, it's not going anywhere. Okay. We're all going to deal with it. And the other factors they found when it comes to stress is that depression. If you deal with depression, you're twice as likely to have a heart attack. Okay? If you deal with anxiety, you're 4 times more likely to have a heart attack. If you deal with both, that's exponentially, your risk is going up exponentially. Anger issues, if you deal with anger issues and you're holding on to stuff, okay? If you're that person that everybody sees you coming and they run the other way, okay? Because you're just, my wife is sometimes at me, you know, whenever I'm around. But that's my fault. I'm not going to blame that on her. Okay. If you deal with that, your likelihood of having a heart attack is going to go up. Okay. So we have to be able to find ways to cope with this and keep our blood pressure down. Okay. So that you're not sitting in traffic, somebody cuts you off, and all of a sudden you're in that fight or flight response, and it takes you a while to cool down. Okay. So we have to de-stress. We have to rest. This is first and foremost. If you're going to be able to combat heart disease and lower your blood pressures, we've got to de-stress and get the rest that we need. Okay. And so some of the techniques that you can use to be able to de-stress is number one is, and I find this for me with a busy schedule, is just to simplify your schedule. Okay. And I feel like this is going to be a really important one here the rest of this month and all the way through the end of the year, is because we have reached that dreaded stage we call the holidays. Okay. How many of you are like, oh great, here comes the holidays? Yeah. Because it's so much more stressful. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Okay. There's a couple things that you can do. Number one, everybody say this word with me. No. Say no. Okay. You don't have to run yourself ragged and to go to all these different parties and stuff and staying out late because it's just going to cause way more issues. So review your calendar. Create a war plan. This is something I do every week. I sit down and I plan out my week to say, what do I got going on? Where do I need to be? And I tell you, is before I started doing this, I was doing the exact same things, but it felt like I was just always short on time. I never had enough time to get everything done. I started doing this and planning out my week. All of a sudden, it's like, oh wow, this is a lot easier to be able to do. So plan out your week. Number two is breathe and relax. Okay? Everybody take a deep breath in. Doesn't that feel better already? Okay. I tell some of you when you come in, practice breathing. Okay. Because not enough you just actually take time and just to breathe. And when you're driving to work, take some time. Practice your breathing. Deep breaths in, get the oxygen in, and just slow everything down. Okay. Another one is exercise to lower your stress. Okay. It might be stressful while you're doing it. It might be hard, but when you get done, I can guarantee you, when you get done exercising, you're going to feel better. Okay. Especially, it's a really good coping mechanism when you're dealing with a lot of family issues or that you've got a lot of kind of crises in your life. You're going through a really stressful time, divorce, what have you, all those things. Is exercise is a lifesaver. Okay, because you can go out when you're feeling really stressed. Go out, even just a little bit of a walk or run, you're going to feel better. Okay, yoga, meditation, taking time in prayer, just focusing your mind, imagining what you want for your life and being thankful for it. Okay, it's really hard to be focused on all the junk that's in your life when you're actually in a state of gratitude. Okay, get in that attitude of gratitude every morning. Get plenty of sleep. Okay, again, the reason people get sick during the holidays is they're not getting enough sleep. Okay, so make sure you're getting your sleep, and it's really about quality over quantity. Okay, getting quality sleep. So go to bed earlier, get up earlier. It'll train your body to get the rest that it needs. And this is, for some of you, is doctor's orders: take a nap. Okay, because you're too grouchy. You need to take a nap. Okay, naps are okay. And it's like somewhere along the lines, we think, naps, but the older you get, I think it's like, I need a nap. I need a nap. Okay. And shift your perspective. Again, it goes back to, it's hard to be negative when you're focusing on all the things that you're blessed with, all the things that you do have in your life. Obviously, we're getting all this food for families in need, so we all have things that we can be thankful for. Okay. You know, wherever you're at, there's probably somebody in a worse state, so you definitely have things that you can be thankful for, okay? But that's going to change your life. I can guarantee it. It's going to change your life and your stress when you change your mind, okay? But what if there was a type of stress that relaxing, deep breathing, exercise, yoga, meditation, what if there was a stress that all those things couldn't help with? Okay? Because there is. It's a different type of stress when we talk about the fight or flight response. Okay? It's a different type of stress, and it's called a mechanical stress, a physical stress. And more specifically, it's a physical stress, mechanical stress of the nerve system. Okay? Because when you put stress or you damage the nervous system, that creates this continual state of fight or flight response on the sympathetic nervous system. Okay? These nerves right at the very top of your spine in the lower part of your body, the vagus nerve, these nerves that go out and control all these things like your lungs, your heart, your digestive organs. It's this back and forth. Okay? If those nerves get damaged, you can be sitting in this continual state of fight or flight because it's stimulating those nerves continually. We see this a lot with kids nowadays because they're spending all their time with their devices looking down like this, okay, and damaging their nervous system, creating what we call tech neck, and so they go into what we call a symptom, ADD or ADHD. Okay? And they're bouncing off the walls, and no matter what happens, we can't figure out what's the problem. Well, it's because maybe they're in this continual state of fight or flight, okay? And they can't seem to get out of it. Okay? So we've been able to see kids get off their ADD, ADHD medication is simply by removing the stress from the nerves. The other thing that it does, though, is it creates dysregulation of the nerve function. Okay? So if you have pressure on a nerve, wherever that nerve is going, it creates dysregulation. So that organ, that tissue, whatever it is not going to be able to function the way it's supposed to. Okay? It's not going to work the way it's supposed to. If that's your heart, it's not going to beat at 100% efficiency. Could cause your blood pressure to go up. Could cause an arrhythmia to happen. Okay? If it's a muscle, it could cause that muscle to start to spasm. Okay? And what that looks like is this right here. Is this compression or pressure on the nerves. And you can see how you got the nice thick full messages, the thick nerves right here, and then when we damage them, how it blocks those messages from getting out, whether it be the spinal cord or the nerves themselves. Okay? And when you talk about the nervous system in relation to the heart, you can look and you can see directly how the brain and the nervous system affects your body. Okay? And you see these solid black lines here. This is direct innervation from either your brain out to your blood vessels or to your heart, or the feedback from your heart back up into your brain and controlling how those things are doing. And not to get too technical with it, okay, but it shows you is how there's that direct link. And then we have all these dashed lines, and this is the hormonal effect that has on the nervous system as well. Okay? And so it's the back and forth flow, it's the blocking of those messages. Now, our solution is when we start having blood pressure is we run out and we take medication, right? Okay? We take meds to try to lower the blood pressure, which, yes, in a crisis, absolutely, that's something you should do. But what we find that a lot of the medications that we take, even if it's not for heart disease, for other things, those actually raise blood pressure as well. Okay, so now it's not just the problems on our nervous system, now it's the medication raising our blood pressure even more. And the problem with medication is after a while, what happens to that medication? It stops working, it wears out, and now you need what? Another medication. Okay? And then another medication. Now it's maybe a water pill to be able to get some of the water out. Okay? But it's not the water, it's not the excess water in your system that's causing the blood pressure. There's a different cause to that. Okay? But some of the medications, antidepressants, birth control, caffeine, which is technically a drug, it's a stimulant, cold medications, herbal supplements can raise your blood pressure. Okay? But what if there was something that worked better than 2 blood pressure medications combined? Okay? Because there is. Okay? It's what we call a chiropractic adjustment. Okay? And in 2007, the University of Chicago did a study, and they found that a chiropractic adjustment right at the very top of your spine right here, that adjustment lowers blood pressure better than 2 different blood pressure medications. Okay, so that's pretty powerful. Okay, so obviously, who would like to get off medications? Okay, well, one of the first ways we do that is by taking care of our nervous system, and we have other warning signs to know how your nervous system is firing. Okay, so there's a couple different things that we look at. Is how do you know if you've got damage or pressure on the nerves, or what even causes that? Okay, it's really simply put is the spine. Okay, so since your nervous system is so important, it's surrounded by bone, right? You got a skull surrounding your brain, 24 bones that make up your spine, surround and protect your spinal cord and the nerves. Okay, your spine has a normal low, and what can happen is the spine will actually shift out of alignment. And you see what it does to the nerves in there, everybody. What is it doing? It's putting pressure. It's pinching those nerves there, which is going to block those messages. That's that dysregulation that we talked about earlier. The messages not getting out to the nerve system the way they're supposed to. Okay? Or losing the curve in your spine. But that pressure, it's not just blood pressure, causes all sorts of different things. It can cause the high blood pressure. Like I already talked about, is ADD, ADHD in kids. Okay, headaches, migraines is a big one. Obviously, my wife dealt with that for most of her life. She dealt with that, and it was a chiropractor who helped her to be able to get rid of her headaches and her migraines, and also her allergies, and it changed her life. And that's the reason I'm a chiropractor today, is because I'm seeing that change happen with her. Thyroid imbalances. You talk about your ability to lose weight and your metabolism. It's all controlled in your thyroid. But you look at these nerves right here in the middle part of your neck, they go directly out to your thyroid. Okay, and I've seen many different people who have been able to get adjusted and take pressure off that one spot, and all of a sudden their thyroid kicks back on. Okay, neck pain, obviously that's a really simple one. Digestive issues, acid reflux. I've had quite a few people come in here recently, and they're off their acid reflux medications. Okay, asthma in kids, back pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica. Might be sounding familiar for some of you guys. Menstrual issues, poor sleep, depression, fatigue. All these things are warning signs that you have pressure or damage on your nerves. Okay? And we know that is because if I cut the nerve of your heart, what happens to your heart? It stops. And you what? You die. Okay? What happens though if I put pressure on the nerves? Your heart healthy or sick? It's sick. Okay. It's not able to get that function, so it's going to get sick. Since our body's smart, it has these things that we call symptoms to let us know when there's a problem. So if you have any of these things, and you've never actually looked at your nervous system, that's always the first place to start. Is when it comes to lowering your blood pressure, if you have it, to lower it, you've got to make sure that you remove the cause. Because I can take medication all day long. If I have pressure on the nerves right at the very top of my spine, affecting the sympathetic nervous system, is any medication ever going to fix that? No. Okay. So we got to get to the cause. And DCs, chiropractors, we say we're doctors of cause, because that's our main focus, is finding the problem, fixing the problem, so you're not dealing with it the rest of your life. Okay. So like I said, if that's you, really the best test to be able to check the health of your nervous system is an X-ray. Okay. The reason an X-ray is because an X-ray tells you the position of your spine, where there's any shifting, damage, pressure on the nerves, where those messages are getting blocked, and how that is going to affect your overall body. Okay, so if you've never had that done, if you have family members who've never had that done, today is the day. So I want everybody reach in your folders here. Everybody should have this card here. Everybody pull that out and hold that up for me. Everybody grab that out. Grab that out, hold it up for me. Let's see them. Okay. So you got that card there. Okay. So if you've never had that testing, today's the day. What we're doing is normally you come into a doctor's office, X-rays, testing. You're looking at a couple $100 just from the X-rays alone. And that's not including the doctor's, radiologist reading them, those sort of things. But in our office, we keep it a little bit less expensive. Generally, it's about $130. Okay. But whenever I do these events, I always open up spots in my office for people to get that testing done, because bottom line, this is the most important thing. is checking your nervous system. And what we do is we always open these spots, and we do that for $40. Okay? And that $40 includes all the initial evaluation, all the testing, including x-rays. And then we're able to say, this is what's going on, this is where the pressure is causing these issues that you're dealing with, these warning signs that we were just talking about here. And so if you've never had that, just fill that out for me. If you have had that, or you have family members who have not been checked, then I want you to go out, take that out, and put their names on the bottom there, and we can actually get them scheduled as well, okay? Because it is that important, it's that crucial. Spouses, kids, if they've never been checked, that's the first thing that we got to start with, okay? And what we're doing with that $40, the $40 that covers all the testing, we're taking that $40 and we're going to use that, and that's going directly to Almost Home as a donation for their Thanksgiving food drive here, okay? So now the time is not only you're going to help yourself, you're going to help some people and some families in need this Thanksgiving season, okay? And so Jenna's going to come around, and if you're a guest here, she'll be able to get that set up for you. If you've got family members, she'll be able to set that up as well. So once you're finished with that, go ahead and hold that up, and she'll be around to you guys and to get you set up with that. Okay. But right now, what I want to do is I want to invite Shauna Miller, and she is the director at Almost Home, and I want her to come up and share a little bit about Almost Home and what they do, so you guys can know some of the awesome things that they're doing in the community. So everybody give her a warm round. Welcome.
And I love that we talked about like healthy hearts, but this is heart in a different way. So like you said, I'm Shauna Miller, I'm the executive director of Almost Home. Almost Home has been in existence for 25 years. We provide services to folks in Adams County and Southern Weld, and we really focus on folks in families and individuals experiencing housing instability and homelessness. So that looks a little like it's kind of unsure, like what is housing instability? But as we realize, the housing costs are so high in our area that so many of us are experiencing housing instability, really. How many of us are one paycheck away or one payment away from experiencing homelessness? So we help in a couple different ways. We have a shelter here in Brighton for families, and I'm so excited to say that for the past year, and I haven't even been here a year, but for the past year, every family that's entered our shelter has exited and moved into stable housing of their own, which is really, really cool. And then we really also focus on helping people from becoming homeless in the first place. So we do that through our eviction prevention services and utility assistance. So when people are on the brink of experiencing homelessness, they have eviction paperwork, they're behind on their rent or mortgage, we are able to help financially with those payments. We also can help keep utilities on, which is pretty huge too. And we've done a pretty great job in the past year, and we've been able to increase a lot of our funding. So we are going to be able to help a lot more folks in the next year. So if you or anyone you know are just struggling, definitely reach out to us. We also offer GED classes, ESL classes, and we're starting to do more financial fitness classes here in Brighton. So that's all very exciting. I wish I didn't have a job, but it's where we are right now, and I'm really excited to be able to help the needs of those in Brighton and Adams County. Right now we're talking about the Thanksgiving program, so we're offering food boxes to 350 families in Brighton and Southern Weld. So if you know anyone that could use a little extra help over Thanksgiving, please have them reach out to us. I have paperwork back at my table, and if you want to donate, we would love that too. And thank you so much for Dr. Gall for inviting us and for donating to us. It makes a huge impact.
Yeah, when I moved to Brighton, when we opened our office 4.5 years ago, that was one of the first places I went, is to try to partner with them, is just so we can make sure that we can do some good. And every year we've done the Thanksgiving food drive, and thanks to a lot of you guys, we've been able to really hit that home and to help them reach their goals. So
yeah, it's huge. We give every family a food box of things that they're going to need for their own, to make their own Thanksgiving dinner, and then also a gift card to purchase a turkey, ham, whatever you'd like. So we love that idea that you can make your own Thanksgiving dinner at home. So it can be a family, it can be an individual, whoever you think needs a little bit extra help, please have them reach out to me. I have my cards and my papers on the desk. And thank you. They're not the desk, the table. But thank you, I'm usually at my desk.
Thank you for being here. I really do
we really rely on the support of the community, and we feel so thankful and blessed that we have the support, so thank you so much.
Our pleasure. So, and one more round of applause for you guys, because a lot of you guys make that happen.
That's so exciting.
Yep.
Yes, thank
So,
you.
Thank you very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause here right now, and we're going to do some Q&A. If you have any questions, just real quick, any questions so far? No? I must be doing my job. Okay.
On blood pressure, what's considered too low? Like if you're on medication and say you're running at 108 over 60 something.
I mean, I'm not going to, if it's a little bit low like that, I would say when it gets too low, that's when you kind of start, if you start noticing where you pass out or you kind of get that, almost like that lightheaded feeling, that's when I would say it's getting too low. It's more based on how you're feeling with that. But I mean, I would say you're still fine in that area, but it's starting to get a little bit lower. But if you're on medication, then it's okay. Start to try to wean off of that stuff. Yeah, yeah. That's we definitely want to do that. Okay. Anything else? It's me.
Talking about blood pressure, now they kind of, for older people, they kind of raised it up a little bit, I've read, saying that, have a little higher is, okay for older people.
Yeah, it's kind of, like I said, it's going back and forth. For a while there was pre-hypertension, and then they would start putting people on medication for that, or because it's like, oh, it's just gonna continue to go up. Yeah, I'm not terribly concerned about it going up too high, as long as you're taking action steps to make sure that you're maintaining your blood pressure and not going up. If you're proactive about your health, then it shouldn't be a problem. But if you're just kind of letting it go rampant and you're not checking it, then you need intervention of somehow. Okay.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
I have what they say a white coat syndrome. When I go walk into a dentist office or a doctor's office, it goes, is that? And they wanted to put me on blood pressure medicine. And I said,
No, you do not need to be. You do not need to be on blood pressure for.
Fine.
No.
120 over 80.
You just go when you ever go to the doctor's office, you just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Just calm yourself and relax and
Is that dangerous at that time when it spikes?
Well, I mean, if it goes like up over like 200, then
No.
yeah. But if it's up for the short time, as soon as you're out of the doctor's office, that's not a problem.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
So, all right, we're gonna get into the next one here. Is that's one that I get a lot of questions about. Is high cholesterol. Okay, high cholesterol, and this is gonna be one that we're really gonna have to bust some myths on. This is because cholesterol. There's so much junk science out there that is telling people that cholesterol is too high, all this stuff. But what cholesterol is it's a soft, waxy substance that is made by your liver. Okay, 80% of that is made in your liver. Okay, it's about 1,000 milligrams a day. It's enough, like a little capsule. If you were to just take it in pill form, that's about all your body produces. You eat about 200 to 300 milligrams a day of cholesterol through animal products. Okay, but cholesterol, what it is, it's actually a very critical substance for your body in its healing. Okay, it's used to actually heal tissues in your body, especially when they're inflamed. Okay, so this is huge as far as like the cell lining. The cell membranes, your body needs cholesterol to really use that. Cholesterol is used to make your hormones, okay? Your testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, all these hormones are made from that, okay? One of the things that we see now is like low T or hormone imbalances. Part of that is because you're getting on cholesterol medications, lowering your cholesterol, so your body can't make the hormones the way it's supposed to, okay? So guys, your cholesterol starts to go up, so they lower it, okay? And now you're getting low T, and you're wondering why, again, going back to the whole performance thing, why you can't perform is because you're killing your body's ability to heal itself. Your vitamin D is controlled, is made from your cholesterol. And what they're seeing is that lower cholesterol is actually, they're finding that's increased risk of things like depression and dementia, because your brain is made up of fat, 60% fat, 60% cholesterol basically. So you're literally starving your brain of those things, okay? But you know, that whole libido thing, that affects women as well, okay? That is an effect. So if your cholesterol's going low or too low, that is going to have an effect. Your digestive system, bile acid, is made from cholesterol. We need that to be able to break down fats. If you've ever had your gallbladder removed, you know it's really what happens when you eat fatty foods. Things run through you here. But the differentiating factor here is that cholesterol is not LDL. It's not HDL. Okay? Those are called lipoproteins. Okay? And lipoproteins, again, there's LDL, HDL, VLDL, there's a few different ones. What those are is they're like the bus system of your body, of your bloodstream. Their job is to transport cholesterol to other parts of your body. Okay? And so it's one of those things where we continually do that. We're focusing on the cholesterol, but even we start looking at things like the LDL and the HDL, and we put them as there's the good and they're bad. But there's much more gray area within that, okay? Because with LDL, you have different types of LDL, okay? You've got this big the big soft fluffy LDLs, and you got these small ones. The small ones are more likely to oxidize, which is what causes inflammation. It's basically like when that LDL it explodes, and then it ends up all over the walls, okay? And that creates these clogs, this plaquing of the artery, okay? But there's also LDL. There's also good LDL, which is meant to, when your cells are getting oxidized, it's meant to go in and pick up the garbage and to take it and transport it to the liver to either be recycled or out the bowels to be disposed of, okay? And HDL, your HDL can be out of balance. Again, different proteins on there. That can cause problems. So it's not this good and bad cholesterol. There's so many different things, but unfortunately the doctors don't test for these proteins. Apoprotein E, which is known to increase heart disease and heart attacks, okay? Or the oxidation. You can have the same amount of cholesterol, but it can be all this big good cholesterol that wears out from, you know, you're having too much sugar in the triglycerides and the fats floating around your system. It's continuing to have to transport that, and it wears out, and then it becomes those small ticking time bombs of LDL. Okay, so there's a whole host of different things you have to look at, and what they're finding is that more people actually die. Some of the truths about cholesterol is more people die with low cholesterol than they do with high cholesterol. Okay. It's the oxidation of cholesterol that causes heart disease, not cholesterol in of itself. You can have high cholesterol and be in great health. Okay? More people die with normal or low cholesterol than they do with high. Okay? There's a higher death rate with the lower. Okay? Statin drugs, lowering that, they lower cholesterol, but they have not been shown to reduce heart attack or stroke. Okay? So it defeats the purpose of taking these medications. And then now you're not just dealing with the high cholesterol, now you're dealing with all the side effects from these statin drugs. Okay? So if you're on statin drugs, my advice to you is to start working on getting off of those as quickly as you can, okay? And get your cholesterol in balance. And looking at the causes of why your cholesterol is out of balance in the first place, okay? And some of the causes of that, obviously number one is poor diet. We're going to talk about this here in a second. The foods that raise your LDL cholesterol, okay? Lack of exercise. Okay? When you exercise, you are going to lower your cholesterol. Okay? Increases the good, you know, the HDL. It's going to help for that to go up because that is the better cholesterol, but it's not necessarily all good. Okay? Being overweight. If you're overweight, losing that because that's going to cause your LDL to go up, and the more likely oxidation. Okay? Older age, yes, it does go up because, of course, your testosterone is going down, so your body has to produce more cholesterol to make that. So again, by lowering that, you're defeating your body's natural ability. And there is some hereditary factors to that. Okay? There's certain cholesterol proteins, or there's certain lipoproteins that you have that are based on your genetics. Okay? I had the full panel done looking at all these proteins about a year ago, and one of my proteins was high. Okay? And so I actually went through and worked on lowering that, but it was the one that's genetic. Okay? And it's harder to be able to decrease. Okay? But there's things that you can do. Niacin is a great one. Okay? To be able to lower that. So like the B complex, the B vitamins, getting that niacin in there, it's like over 1,000% of the niacin you would need on daily recommendations. That's actually been shown to lower your bad cholesterol and raise your good cholesterol. Okay, so B vitamins is really good. That's taking that. Another one though, if you're on any sort of cholesterol medications, you need to be taking CoQ10. Okay, CoQ10 is critical. It's an enzyme in energy production. It's an antioxidant that when you take these cholesterol medications, it actually lowers it, and it increases likelihood of a heart attack. Okay, so taking that is going to help to replenish your body's supply. It can get it from food, but again, with those medications, it's going to lower it too far. So your body's you're not going to produce the energy for your heart the way you're supposed to. Okay, so that deficiency has been linked to high blood pressure, diabetes, angina, arrhythmias, all those things. Okay. When it comes to nutrition, okay, a lot of you have heard me talk about some of this stuff when it comes to nutrition. Eating a healthy diet, rich in food by God, we call it. Okay, food in its natural state, because it's going to be a lot better for you. Okay, following what we call the advanced plan, and there's four things that we talk about on the advanced plan. Number one is to change your carbohydrates. Okay, to change your carbohydrates. So what's probably the number one thing of carbohydrates? Number one problem. Sugar. It's sugar. Okay, sugar causes inflammation of your blood vessels. It causes your cholesterol to go up. Your body has to produce more cholesterol to try to rid your body of the sugar. So you got to make sure that you're cutting out the sugars, the grains, those things, because they're literally toxic in your body. They are causing damage. So cut that. Make sure you're cutting that stuff and replace it with good, healthy fruits and vegetables. When it comes to carbohydrates, I challenge you to try to eat too many carbohydrates in the form of vegetables. Okay? It's almost impossible to do. Okay? You're not going to be able to do it. So get more of those things in. Number two is fix your fats. Okay? Fat is the most missed nutrient, macronutrient that you have. So if you're cutting out the grains and the sugars, replacing it with healthy fats. Okay? What that includes is things like avocados, olives, coconut, grass-fed meats, organic beef, those type of things, which leads into perfect your proteins. Okay? Getting good sources of protein in there, and that goes back to, again, your meats. Also, when it comes to fats, is nuts and seeds are great for getting good fats in there. So getting proteins, and again, if you have to go organic, a lot of you heard me say this, if you have to go organic in one area, start with the meats. The meat is the absolute most important. Okay? Organic grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, making sure you're eating this in a regular basis. Okay? And then number four is trashing the toxins, getting rid of the toxins that are built up in your system. Okay? Or getting rid of the toxins that are really in your food. Okay? But it's as simple as that. Okay? Getting more food by God, less food by man in there. But unfortunately, when it comes to heart disease nowadays, with our standard American diet, it's really hard to be able to make the change and completely reverse disease with just your food. It can happen, but there's a lot of other things that we need. First and foremost is it goes back to the fat. If we're going to repair our cells, if we're going to feed our brain, we have to get good fat in there. And probably the most important supplement that you can take to be able to do that is the optimal omega, okay? This is omega-3 fatty acids. The reason being is because this is the most important in lowering the cholesterol, in reducing the inflammation as much as possible. And you can get it from fish oils. Fish is a great way to get this in, but if you're not eating a lot of fish, then you gotta make sure that you're supplementing with that. So this is a key portion of getting the essential fatty acids. And your omegas in your body is in omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9. Omega-6 and 9 are one category, omega-3 are here. Okay, and normally that ratio should be about 2 to 4 to 1. So 2 to 4 of omega-6s and 9s to 1 omega-3. Okay, but unfortunately most people are up here. They're way out of balance. Okay, so getting in the good, and the great thing about this is it's built as 2 to 1, so it's even lower than the normal ratio. Okay, other ways you can do this is go to our website. It's essentialfc.com. If you're taking notes, go to the website. We've got recipes on there. You can go to maxliving.com. We've got other recipes on there that are going to help you. Smoothie recipes. You can find those things, and obviously you guys have had some of the smoothies and stuff. There is take a scoop of the perfect protein, put that in with the smoothies from Heidi's, which thank you guys for coming out today. Appreciate you being out here, but getting more of those things in. There's tons of good recipes, or you can just have them make it for you. It's that much easier. Okay? Other things as far as supplement-wise, magnesium is a big one. Okay, we don't carry this in our office, but you can get it online. You can again go to essentialfc.com and go to the store. You can find this on there. This is a really important nutrient for relaxing your digestive system, but also for your heart and your muscles. Okay, so getting a lot of that in. The other one, I always talk about the two most important nutrients two most important supplements that everybody needs to be taking is omega-3 and vitamin D3. Okay, not only is this going to help repair your body, okay, because vitamin D3 is crucial for your immune system, but it's huge as far as fighting cancer and reducing the inflammation. Okay. And getting the probiotics with it is huge as well, because that's going to make sure that your body actually absorbs. If you are not taking a vitamin D3, especially as we're getting into the colder months where we're all bundled up, we're not getting any sunlight, there's no way for that to happen. And of course you need cholesterol to be able to make vitamin D, and if you don't have cholesterol levels where they should be, your body's not going to make vitamin D. Okay? It's not going to be able to formulate it. Okay? So those are the most important things. Of course, all our products, 15% off plus. There's some of the packages that have the vitamin D3 and the omega in there. You get even bigger discounts on that. So you guys will be able to get that, and you got your order form sheet in there. But then piggybacking on Essential 3, which is the nutrition, is the minimizing toxins. Okay, we live in a toxic world. Okay. Some of you have heard me use the example of the goldfish. Okay, we're the goldfish, but our environment is toxic. Okay, if I start putting a bunch of chemicals and junk into that fish's water, what's going to happen to the fish? It's going to get sick and it's going to die. Okay, we're in the same thing. So you have to make sure that you're detoxing that water. You're cleaning the water so that the fish is able to survive. Okay. And like I said, some of the toxins, which goes back to food, is the chemicals. If you can't say the ingredients, don't eat it. Simple as that. Okay? Eat food in its natural state, not in a boxed form. Okay? Water, unpurified water. Okay? If you're not purifying your water, the water in Brighton, they found over 10 different chemicals. 6 of those have been linked to cancer. And it's in your water. So make sure that you're purifying that. Or you're getting it from like mineral water sources, because that's a problem. Okay, BPA, which is a preservative they'll put in like canned goods. They also put it in plastics. Okay, that's why you never leave plastic water bottles in your car, because the BPA is actually leaching out into the water. And we also try to minimize the amount of plastic water bottles that you're drinking out of. Okay. Obviously, I provided the water today, I'm not gonna judge you, okay, but try to minimize it, okay? Try to keep those things down, and that's been known to cause hormone disruption. If you got hormone issues, that's one of the big things. Smoking, okay? If you're smoking, you might as well just take a dollar bill out of your pocket and just light it on fire, because that's literally what you're doing, okay? And make it a $5 bill, because while one cigarette does not cost that, over the course of your lifetime, that's what you're gonna be spending in medical bills. It's literally just burning money, okay? It has absolutely no benefit, and unfortunately, it is killing you. It's causing you to get sick. So smoking, if you're doing that, make sure to cut. Electrosmog, okay? One of the biggest and newest things that we're dealing with is what we call electrosmog. And it's coming from these devices that we call our phones, okay? Those put off EMF radiation, and we're continually exposed to that. If you're in like Wi-Fi areas, you're continually exposed to those things, okay? And that will have an effect. It does mess with the chemistry in your body. As they find men who wear their cell phone right on their hip, they find they generally have, they're more likely for hip fractures, because that the EMF actually weakens the bone and causes it to break down, and they're more likely to fracture. Okay? So when you're sleeping, take all of your devices, get it out of your home, get it out of your bedroom. Okay? You do not want that stuff around. It can disrupt sleep. Of course, the light on those, you want to be able to avoid that before you go to bed, because otherwise that's going to disrupt your sleep. And unfortunately, it's the environment we live in. So you got to make sure you're detoxing your body. Okay? Or the personal care products. That's the other one. Is the stuff that you're putting on your skin that does get absorbed. Okay? And going to talk about the water for just a second, because a lot of my old timers, they do not drink water. Okay? They refuse to drink water. And this one I take really personally, because I've been preaching to my father-in-law for years that you need to drink more water. You need to drink more water, because he was drinking maybe like half a glass a day. Okay? Oh, I drink coffee, that's my water. Okay? So he was living in this continual state of dehydration. And this latest heart issue that he had come up, they said part of that is because he was so dehydrated, his heart was just out of rhythm. And so whenever he'd come out to Colorado in our dry air, he would all of a sudden start getting heart palpitations, and he'd get these arrhythmias going on. And so it's especially here in Colorado, you have to drink that much more water. But of course, as soon as he had this issue and his medical doctor said, drink more water, he was all of a sudden on board. I've been telling you that for years. Okay? And I'm telling some of you guys for years, drink more water. Make sure you're drinking water. Okay? Because if you're in a continual state of dehydration, it's like taking this goldfish out of its water. Okay? If you're not drinking the water, what's going to happen to that goldfish? It's going to die. It's going to suffocate. The same things happen to your cells here. Okay? So we gotta make sure you're doing that. Okay? And the other thing is, because the reason toxins are so problematic is they also cause inflammation. Those toxins go around in your body, in your blood vessels, and they cause damage. Okay? So we have to continually be fighting those things, because it's getting into our body whether we want it to or not. So one, you have to detox. That's the daily detox that we talk about. But also a daily defense is because this is going to help fight inflammation. So it's got turmeric, Indian gooseberry, which are both high antioxidants. That's going to help your body to be able to fight those things. Okay? And it's going to get to the root cause of some of this inflammation. Okay? Now we go to everybody's favorite. How do you lower blood pressure? How do you reduce cholesterol? How do you heal your body? Oxygen and exercise. Okay? Oxygen and exercise. So we have to move more. Our bodies are designed to be moving. Okay? That's why I love being up here. I get to move around. You guys are stuck in the chair, which is much more problematic on your bodies. Okay? But this is huge for your heart health. Okay? Because when you exercise, you produce what's called nitric oxide. Okay? And nitric oxide is stored in the walls of your blood vessels. It's stored in the blood vessels. Okay? And when you move, your body releases that. And what it does, it helps to open up the blood vessels even more, so that course, it's going to immediately lower your blood pressure as you're going through, okay? So that is something really easy to do, and it doesn't have to be like a full-blown workout. There's even things you can do throughout your day. It's called a nitric oxide dump that helps to pump that into your body. You do that a few times a day, spread it throughout your day. You're actually going to produce that, and it's going to lower your blood pressure very quickly, okay? What we call that in Max Living is called surge training, or burst training, or Max T3, high intensity exercises for short durations, okay? And so the goal is to ultimately get about 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week. But when you're doing the surge training, the burst training, you can actually do that in shorter, okay? So when we talk about this, is my first challenge to you is to get your backsides on Saturday mornings to our Max T3 classes, okay? Come to Max T3 classes. We do them for free at the office. It's completely free for you guys as patients to come to. So get there. It's any fitness level. We have 80-year-olds come to work out. We have a gal who's on oxygen, and she comes to work out. We had a guy who had a shoulder and knee replacement, and he was still working out. So it's built to any fitness level, guys. Is it hard when you're doing it? A little, okay? But it's not so hard that you can't do it, because it's all about modifying. No matter where you're at, there's always modifications that you can do, okay? So whenever I talk about moving, what do we have to do? We have to practice it. So I want everybody up on your feet, okay? And we're going to do a nitric oxide dump, okay? So it's really simple. We're going to do 4 movements. You're going to do 20 movements on each of these, okay? Of each of these movements, and you want to do them as quickly as you can. So you'll each do them at your own pace, and I'll talk about modifications. But the stuff that we can all do. So number 1, okay, you're going to do 20 squats, okay? 20 squats. So you're going to drop your backside down. You want to go as low as you can, and then you're going to explode up as high as you can. It's going up and down as fast as you can. We're not going to do it just yet here. Okay, I'm just going to go through an example. Well, you can count that into your numbers here. Okay? So you're going to go as fast as you can. Okay? If you've got bad knees, then you don't go down as far. Maybe you only go to here. You do a half squat instead. It's all to what you can do. Okay? But obviously, when you do that, you're going to go a little bit faster with your half squats. Okay? Number 2 is going to be alternating arm lifts. So you're just going to do this. You're going to do 20 on each arm. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, just like that. Okay? You're going to do 20 on those. Okay? And then you're going to do half jumping jacks, which is get yourself in a nice wide position. You're going to reach up and get your arms up as high as you can. Try to get them all the way up over the top. Okay? You do 20 on those. And then the last one you do is shoulder presses, or shoulder raises. You're just going to reach up as high as you can here. Okay? So all stuff we can do, and obviously if you can't bring them all the way up, that's okay. Do what you can, okay? So this should just take, it's going to take about a minute or 2. So everybody ready? Steady, go. Get your squats. Deep squats, come on. All the way down, all the way up. Fast. If you need to hold on to the chair in front of you, you can do that, okay? And then as soon as you get done with your 20, then you're going to your arm raises, alternating arm raises, okay? Keep moving, keep moving. Come on, you guys can do better than that. Come on. And then once you get on with that, again, your half jumping jacks, okay? Half jumping jacks. And lastly, your shoulder presses, okay? Now what you're going to do for a full nitric oxide dump, you're actually going to go through this cycle 4 times. You're just going to go continually through it. So you'll go through all the exercises, then you'll move to the next one. Make sure you're not hitting the people beside you. Come on. I don't have to separate you guys. So you're going to go through this cycle 4 times. And you do that, spread this throughout your day. And when you're at the office and you need to break, you need to get up and move, just go through this. And once you're ready, you can just relax. Nice work. And even this little bit, you guys probably notice your heart rate goes up. yes, your blood pressure is going to go up, but as your body's pumping out that nitric oxide, you're actually going to relax a lot faster. Your blood pressure is going to start to lower that much faster. Okay? So you're not working out, you don't have to work out hard, you have to work out smart. Know how your body's physiology, go ahead and sit down whenever you're finished. Okay? Knowing your body's physiology is going to help you achieve the results that much faster, guys. So, and again, it's as little as 12 minutes for a full workout. Okay, so you guys can come and experience at the office. It's going to be Saturday mornings at 9. Next weekend, though, we will not be having. It's not every Saturday. Next weekend, we're going to be out at the Turkey Trot. Okay, so try to get. We would love to have as many people as possible from Essential Family Chiropractic. We're actually going to meet out there, and we're going to do the Turkey Trot together at the start. You'll be able to do it at your own pace. If you're going to walk it, that's completely fine, but we want to try to get as many of the Essential Family Chiropractic team out there. So that's going to be next Saturday morning. I believe it's 8:30 is the start time out at the Brighton Rec Center there. So we're always looking how can we support the community, and that's one of the ways that we're able to do that. Okay. But as we get past the new year and into December, we'll have some of these classes going on here. Okay. So that's really it. Those are the 5 essentials, right? You got your minimizing toxins. Okay. You're moving more. You're getting your oxygen and exercise. You're putting good fuel in. You got your mindset now. Okay. Everybody say, "I am born to be healthy." Okay. And now I want you to take that and tell yourself every day that, and fill your body up with those things. Okay. And of course, you got the chiropractic portion, because that's really the most important, is making sure your nerve system is able to heal. Okay. And so here's your next steps. Okay. Go home, clean out your pantry. Okay. Clean out your pantry. Come to the Max T3 classes. We have a sign-up sheet in our office. Make sure to get signed up throughout the week here. And again, like I said, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you've worked out a day in your life. There's always going to be things that you're going to be able to do. It doesn't matter where you're at with your fitness level. Okay? Clean out your pantry. Make sure that you're feeding your body, fueling your body, reducing the inflammation, and giving your body everything it needs. Okay? Those are really your next steps. Obviously, this is a lot of knowledge. Okay? I always finish with this is when we talk about all this stuff here today, yeah, it's great. Okay? But if you walk out this door today and you neglect to do any of the stuff that we just talked about, what kind of change are you going to see? None. Okay? So ultimately, knowledge means nothing. It's about the action that you put behind it. Okay? And especially as we get into the holidays, where the highest day of heart attacks in the entire calendar year is Christmas Day. Especially get into the holidays, is you got to make sure that you're protecting yourself. Okay, so it starts today, but it's got to bleed out to your daily life. Okay, find your routines, incorporate these things, find an accountability partner, find somebody to do this with, is because it's so much easier when you got somebody along with you. Okay, what do they say? Misery loves company. Just kidding, just kidding. You're going to be that much healthier, you're going to be that much happier, and you're going to feel great this holiday season instead of feeling like junk. Okay? So with that, I'm just going to finish up here with just a few questions. Any questions?
I have a quick question about
Yes.
the CoQ10.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying that if you're on cholesterol medicine, you should be taking that.
Yes.
Should you take it if you're not on cholesterol medicine?
You can be deficient with it if your cholesterol balance is out of balance.
Okay.
Which if any of you are looking to get some of the more intense profile done, I can get you the name and number of the naturopath that I go to see, who does all the blood testing in her office. I'm gonna get you the information. She actually will do that full cholesterol profile with all the different proteins and stuff to see what type of LDL and those things are going on. But yeah, if you may be deficient in those things. So yeah, it's something that definitely would be recommended to take, because that's going to fuel your heart, like I said. Yes, sir.
I'm taking some alpha-lipoic acid. Should I
Yep.
replace that with the CoQ10?
Alpha lipoic acid is another good one that is going to help to reduce inflammation. but it's not the same. So if you're on some of those medications, yes, I would say to be taking some of the CoQ10.
Take it instead of.
Take it,
Either way.
along
yeah,
with it.
both. Yeah, I mean, take them both. I mean, if you had to choose one, I would probably choose the CoQ10 over that, since, like I said, that is fueling the heart. That's where your energy comes from. So I would say I would take that instead, but they're both good for you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I was on simvastatin for several years.
Yes.
And I was diagnosed with liver and kidney disease
Mhm.
because of the medication, so I just quit taking it.
Yep.
Without asking the doctor, I just stopped. Is that really bad?
Well, obviously, I don't recommend that because, yes, if you're having those side effects, it's something that you want to try to avoid that. If it's shutting them down, because any medication has an effect on the liver, since that's your detox. And just so you guys are clear, medications are toxins. That's why they're all processed in the liver. Okay? It's foreign to your body. If it's causing that down, then yes. But at the same time, you also have to make sure that you're taking steps to be able to lower, and all the stuff that we just talked about, you gotta make sure you're doing that, and you gotta make sure you're going hard with it to be able to get your body healed, reduce the inflammation, because if not, if you're not doing any action steps for it, then that of course is gonna increase your likelihood of heart disease and obviously some more severe events. Okay? Obviously, I don't tell people to stop taking medications, but I definitely will work with people in conjunction if they want to be able to do that. Just because if your body's healthy and healing the way it's supposed to, you don't need those medications, right? If healthy people or sick people take medications. Sick people, right? Okay. So we got to make sure that your body is healthy. So if that's something that I know we've talked about, is making sure that you're making some of these changes, especially as we get into the holiday season, limiting the sugar. Okay.
What do you recommend for potassium?
For potassium, I mean vegetables, spinach, kale, broccoli. Put it in a smoothie. Okay, the smoothie is great because you can get some of the greens in there. And still give it some of the sweet with the berries, and that, or the other thing you can do is the max greens over there. That's like eating 5 servings of vegetables
That
in one
protein
scoop.
one?
No, it's the max greens. The max greens, it's a green blend. It's basically dehydrated vegetables. Okay? And it's got a chocolate flavor to it, so you can put it in like either water. I can drink with water, or if you want to put it in a smoothie, that will also help get you a lot of nutrients for potassium. Yep.
What helps the kidneys?
What helps the kidneys? Okay. Obviously, just overall health. Potassium is one of those things that will help getting your electrolyte balance, your magnesium, your potassium. Getting a little bit more of those. Again, the vegetable is going to help that. If you're having like kidney failure, or if you're having kidney issues, then I generally recommend doing a full-blown kidney cleanse, right? Which is some different herbs and things to help feed your kidneys, and that helps to increase its overall function. But obviously, all the stuff we talked about is going to help your kidneys. Okay, getting adjusted is going to help your kidneys, taking pressure off. Eating good foods is going to help your kidneys as well. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you guys all for coming here today. I almost lived up to my promise of getting you on here in time. But thank you guys for all coming. Give yourselves a round of applause. Big thanks to Almost Home for coming out, for Heidi's Deli. I love them, just to kind of give them a shout out. We've been doing some of, we're doing lunch and learns, and we've been using Heidi's Deli, and people love it. They use all organic ingredients, even the deli meats, or the natural stuff. They don't have all the nitrates in there. They've got salads, they've got wraps, they got sandwiches. Obviously, if you're trying to avoid grain, just get a salad. Really good stuff. Of course, they got the smoothies on there, and then Barb with
Baxley and Company.
Daxley and Company, natural soaps, personal care products. So you guys go check that out, get some of those stuff, because you want to make sure you're getting good stuff in and not putting those toxic personal care products on your body. So all homemade at their farm. So make sure to go talk to them and check them out. So again, thanks for coming. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe with all the snow.